So you just a small tangent on this. You faced the mountain.
Oh yeah,
Have for Bjornsson. Well, first of all, you arm wrestled him.
yeah.
It's interesting to ask. So this is the mountain from the Game of Thrones. A strong man, one of the strongest people in the world for a time, the strongest person in the world. What was it like? I know sort of you guys maybe weren't going 1000%, but what's it like?
Well, he probably wasn't going 1,000%. Yeah.
But like what it's interesting to think, what does that strength feel like? So it's a specialized strength in another sport.
Yeah.
What did it feel like? How strong was he? What are some kind of deep insights you drawn from that battle?
I feel like if we were to go back 1,000 years, and if you give him armor and a two-handed sword, he will just rip across the landscape, and no one will stop him.
So this is the boxing match between the two, but there's also a video of them arm wrestling.
Yeah, what a titan, though. What a titan. A guy like that, tall, strong, fit, disciplined. I mean, he's quite a warrior.
419 pounds.
Yeah. He's incredibly impressive. I really like Hapthor, and I like Eddie Hall too. Mm-hmm. And I was just I'm just so caught up with the drama. Okay, so Eddie Hall and Hapthor Bjornsson, two of the strongest legendary strongmen that we have. And they were the coolest. They were the top when strongman was really super cool. I don't know all the details, but they legit hit each other, like legit. So I think it kind of stems. I don't know. Like I say, I'm not right there with them, but Eddie won the World's Strongest Man event or something one year, and the thing, it was one of those victories where Hapthor, was not accepting of his defeat. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there was a little bit of back and forth, and basically, from what I understand, they were going to fight like the night of the World's Strongest Man. And they kind of got pulled apart, and this heat between them got translated into a potential boxing match. So it's very real. It's a very real fight. So you have the two strongest dudes on the planet are gonna fight each other. So I've been because arm wrestling and strongman, it's kind of similar communities.
Who do you got? If you were giving me financial advice,
oh Jesus. I am so bad. I always call it wrong. They're very different. I see Hapthor as being, more.
Well, Eddie Hall is slimming down. Is that what?
Yeah.
That is? Wow.
I see Hapthor as a bit more regimented, but I see Eddie Hall as way more barbaric and I think he's a little bit more athletic, but Hapthor's bigger and they've chosen slightly different paths to prepare for the match. But what happened was they were about to fight, and Eddie Hall blew his bicep. Mm. So I was getting ready for Levon in December. We were supposed to arm wrestle in December, but he's got his movie. And so I was like, okay, I can kind of get away from the sport just a little bit, broaden my base. That happened, and I was like, oh, an opportunity.
You stepped in.
An opportunity to fight. I'm like, I'll do it. So
how much training you trained a little bit. So can you tell about your own decision to do that? What was the training like? What was the experience like?
Oh, it was so much fun. So basically I made a funny video and I sent it to the organizers of Core Sports that I would do it. I'm like, I'll do it. I'm sure they got 1,000 people who wanted to do it. But I'm like, listen, I'm an old man. I'm gimped up everywhere outside the arm wrestling lanes. I said, but I will 100%. If you let me fight him, I'll give it my all. And whatever, they didn't get back to me. They're like, yeah, whatever. Okay. So then they call me on a Friday, 5 weeks before the event. And they're like, hey, Devon, were you serious? And I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm like, yes, I was serious. Yeah, I'll do it. And they're like, okay. They're like, it's down to you and 2 other people. We'll get back to you in a day or 2, but you would do it. And I'm like, okay. So they got back to me on Sunday. So right away, I'm like skipping rope, and I only arm wrestle Lex. That's all I do.
So what was you did some striking training.
Yeah, so I went to this guy that he was awesome, Zach Ben Bushida there. That was it from Tristar. Mm-hmm. Do you know Faraz Sahabi? Mm-hmm.
And yes, people in the comments, I will interview him on this podcast. People,
he's brilliant.
Yes, he's
right?
Brilliant.
He's an incredible guy. So right away, like I had no idea about the fight community across Canada, really, and I got like by the 5th message that said you must train with Faraz. I was like, okay, called him up. He was incredible right away. He's like, yeah, you can come and we'll just work with you. So I got the call. I called him on like Monday at 2:00. By like 7:00, I had my things packed and I went to Montreal, and I spent 4 weeks in the fighter dorms.
Just humbling yourself.
Yeah. Every day, just getting punched in the face, over and over, going for runs with they're all like Olympians and pro fighters living in the dorms. Super cool dudes. They were so good to me.
Yeah, there's a good video of you and Faraz just talking.
Yeah,
I don't remember which stage this was, but
this is early.
But you were already beginning to get humbled.
Oh man, I knew. I mean, I knew what I was getting into. Like, I knew it was going to be a losing battle, but I felt like the opportunity to fight Thor. Like, how cool is that? Like, I had to do it. I love the process, and I learned a lot from doing it. Like the dorms, I want to do something like that with arm wrestling. I think we're big enough now that we can have these kind of, dorms, frat houses, whatever you want to call it.
So what's the dorm like? So you basically staying there.
Yeah,
food is there.
Yeah.
So you mentioned what was the word you used? Administration. No.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So it removes all of that.
Makes it so simple.
You can just focus.
The gym is here. You live here.
Yeah.
That your life becomes simple. Yeah.
So there's a guy named Jimmy Pedro here in America. He's a famous coach. There's a place up in Boston. He has kind of a dorm like that too.
Yeah.
And that becomes essential when the community is small, but you're trying to do epic things like win an Olympic gold.
Yeah.
So you have to really put the people together in these kind of minimalist conditions where they just focus on the training, focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough time. I mean, I trained for about 3 or 4 weeks. But I love the journey. And
what are some of the fun things you enjoy? So you did mostly striking. Did you? I guess it was.
Yeah, it was boxing.
It was straight up boxing.
Boxing. Yeah.
What are some things that were transferable? What are some cool things you learned from that? So from the world of arm wrestling, have you taken anything back? Like some training regimens, ideas about training, even just even movements? Because Faraz is a unique mind as well for training.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've gone very far down the path of arm wrestling. Boxing and arm wrestling are very different. They're very different sports. The physicality required is very different. The mentality, I mean, it's fighting. So it's another form of fighting, which is cool. The big things that I took back from it, the things that I loved about it was I had to run again.
So really work on endurance.
Yeah. I was going for runs with guys in the dorms, and they would just destroy me. Just like it was so bad.
So did you how did you feel in the actual boxing in terms of endurance? Were you able to?
No.
It's just torture.
It was terrible. And the thing is it was so crazy for me because I really was good once upon a time.
Yeah.
I really was, like, physically, like I had incredible full body endurance, but being so specialized, I realized how much I had slipped.
Yeah.
And it was fun to try and regain. I think it's affected my body composition. I think since that training, I've become much more lean. I think it was a very healthy thing for me to do, like health-wise. Like I always think that, when you're far away from competition, it's really good to kind of spread out. Really good. So I think that in that way.
Also for your mind too.
Yeah.
Just like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So something about clearing your. I think you've talked about this. Is like you're basically taking steps back before you take steps forward. It's I forget how you called it.
The wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Under, you have to go under.
Yeah.
You got to. If you want to go above the line, you have to spend some time beneath it. And I was definitely beneath the line for a long time. Yeah. But Mountain, I mean, like the interesting thing was, as incredible as he is, like what a monster. And I think if you had him training in boxing, for a long time and like from his youth, I think the guy could be world champion. But, to be so specialized and then to switch, you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And also, like, I know from just fighting guys in the gym in Tristar, some of those guys were way scarier. For real. Like, as scary as Thor is, like, there's guys in that Tristar gym that don't look like anything, that would murder me much worse. Much worse.
Yeah. But also, that's the difference between being in the gym and under the lights, too. I mean, GSP is an example. George St. Pierre is an example of somebody that maybe doesn't look terrifying.
He's at a Tristar.
Yep. He trains at Tristar, but he's super nice, super humble, but is terrifying when he's fighting.
Right.
Is dominating people.